Good morning.
Good morning. Do we need a couple of minutes, Erika?
Yeah. We're going to give ourselves 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Just give us 30 seconds.
If mine doesn't show, I can do timer. That would be great. You have a roll?
No.
Okay, actually, Mac's going to be timer.
That's
That's all right, I'll help you.
She needs a your phone screen.
Yeah.
Right over there.
Okay, so when they call on you, this is what you say. And then all you have to say, instead of all the times, you can say 2 minutes before their time's up, I'll hold the green card, a minute before their time's up, yellow, and when their time's up, I'll hold red. Or you can specifically say the times if you want. And then table topics, you say after 30 seconds, I'll hold the green, 45 yellow.
I mean, okay, well, we have a
That's what
minute
you
now.
say. And then the evaluators.
Who do you need?
This is their timing.
I
So
can
you'll
copy.
get on, you'll say this is it,
Okay,
and
give
then
me
this
1
is the
second.
times.
You need Rich and Mike. Where are they? I think Mike's asleep. Really?
And Martin is here to volunteer any role.
He's
you
already
mentioned.
scheduled.
And Rich is as usual.
Ready? Yes. Awesome. Good morning, Lake Mary Toastmasters.
Good morning.
Good
morning.
I can see the maniacal faces
Yes.
because today's payday.
Okay.
Oh, due days. Due days.
Oh,
Is that right?
Show me the money.
Show me the money to earn. Well, with that, I call this meeting of Lake Mary Toastmasters Club 6440 to order. Before we proceed with the meeting, please silence your cell phones. I would like to ask everyone to stand up for the pledge of allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Our club mission is to provide a supportive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Please help me welcome our Toastmaster this morning, Erika Benfield.
Look at all these maniacal faces staring at me. Staring at me. Our topic today is going to be media consumption. Media consumption. How many of you have a cell phone in this room? With a show of hands.
What?
How many of you have a smartphone in this room? Keep your hand up. How many of you have a tablet in this room?
In the room?
In the room. Well, it's all about the click today. I just came from a conference in Atlanta, mingling with television stars, famous bloggers, people that use different media outlets and engage with the audience. I won't bore you with all the information that I received, but I will share with you a few highlights. Did you know that mobile accounts for 30% of the time we spend on online media? 16 to 24-year-olds are the biggest consumers of media via the mobile internet. In the old days, you might have gone around humming a jingle that's showing your brand with others. How many of you recall a certain jingle when they were a kid? Whether it was the Tide commercial or the Cheerios commercial, or for me, I'm a Rotarian, so the oldest member in our Rotary group, when it's our founding day, he makes us all sing this jingle that they used to sing back in the day. So we have evolved from branding ourselves from a jingle to having followers on Pinterest and YouTube, and you have all kinds of marketing ways. However, one of the things that I took away from that conference is that it's not going to go away. The generations are going to continue to adapt, And throughout this meeting today, I'm going to keep sharing some fun facts about media consumption. I would like to introduce our technical table, starting with our odd counter, Ernst Urbanchik.
I am maniacal. Maniacal this morning as the odd counter. Also, I just finished my first half marathon. I was wondering why I was running so fast. I was passing Erika's development. That's why I was running so fast.
He was. I did the 5K and he did the half marathon.
As the odd counter, it is my function to listen to the use of filler words such as you know, so, okay, and other audible pauses as fillers. I will be noting if members perform any double clutches, which means to say things twice, such as this means. Finally, I will also include things which might be distracting, such as lip smacks. I will present my report during the evaluation period of the meeting. Toastmaster.
To enlighten us with this maniacal new word is Juliana Debler, our grammarian.
Good morning, Toastmasters. I will be your grammarian for today. As my function, it is to select a word of the day, and as Eric has already stated, it's maniacal. It's an adjective, and it's often used to refer to as an adjective to describe something that's affected with or suggestive of madness. For example, a maniacal laughter. For me this morning, I woke up and found my favorite shoes torn apart. Oh. My puppy had a maniacal grin on her face. So I'll be looking for your uses of grammar and as well as your word of the day, and I'll give my report at the end of the meeting. Thank you.
And last but not least, our timer, Nicole Caslow.
Oh, she's not here. Hey, I'm just going to take the
I'll
roll.
fill in.
Macarena. Thank you for stepping in.
Good morning, Toastmasters. My function is to time the speakers, evaluators, and table talk participants to ensure they meet the timing requirements. I will demonstrate the timing lights, which will be displayed as follows. Speakers, green, 5 minutes. Yellow would be 6 minutes, and red will be 7. At the end of each segment, I will report the timing results. At the end of the meeting, yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you for stepping in. And appropriately so, she's got a clock pendant necklace, and she didn't even know she was filling in this role this morning. I love that. Globally, internet users are now spending an average of, any guesses? How many hours a day are we spending on global?
36.
22. 6 hours daily, globally.
Wow.
Up from 5 hours in 2002. So it's definitely growing. As Toastmaster, I would like to introduce our first speaker with the title Risky Business. Lori Richards speaking from Project 3, Get to the Point.
Yay, Lori!
Speaking at a conference in October, the former Federal Reserve Chairman, Ben Bernanke, admitted that he had tried to refinance his house, but his loan was denied. Now, if the man who was in charge of setting interest rates can't get a loan, a mortgage loan, then what are the rest of us supposed to do? Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and guests, nearly 25% of the loans that were denied in 2013 were denied due to credit. And maybe that's happened to you. What do lenders look for? Well, as an underwriter with a major lender, I'd like to share with you what I do when I review your credit report. So everybody's heard of credit scores. You probably know what yours are. And that's the first thing that I see. Now, a credit score is just really a snapshot or a summary of what's inside your credit report. It's not the most important thing in your file, but it is a deciding factor. In fact, many lenders, including the one that I work for, have minimum credit standards. So if your credit scores don't meet that requirement, your loan doesn't even get to my desk. It's politely declined immediately. So your credit scores, they range anywhere from 350 to 850. And in my line of work, anything that's over 720 is considered a good score. 720 and over will get you a nice interest rate. It will allow you to have options as far as programs that people that have lower credit scores don't have that are not available to them. So I look at your credit scores and I determine if there are any programs that you can fit into that I can approve your loan for. The next thing that I do is I look at your credit history. And remember I said that credit scores are just a snapshot of what's in your credit report. So your credit history is like the meat and potatoes of everything. And what I look for in your credit history is the length of time that you've had accounts. Lenders really like to see that you have established history. So any accounts that are over 24 months long, that's a plus. We like to see that you have made your payments on time. And how I determine that is I get reports, a tri-merge report. It's from all three of the bureaus. It's information from all three bureaus. And they tell me the type of trade lines that you have. Trade lines are just your credit accounts that you have now or have had in the past. And it'll tell me things like the type of account it is, whether it's a mortgage or a student loan or a credit card, when your account was opened, what the high balance was on it, and what your monthly payment is, and really importantly, if you've made those payments on time. If you haven't made the payments on time, your report will tell me when you were late and how often you were late. One thing I want to mention that maybe you didn't know, and before I got into the mortgage industry, I didn't know this. You know, if you have a mortgage loan and your lender, usually your payment is due on the 1st of the month. If you pay it after the 10th, they charge you a late fee. Well, it doesn't hit your credit report as a late unless you are 30 days past that report. So you actually have a few more days before it dings your credit. You don't want to do that because then you rack up late fees, and at the end I see that you have all these late fees and I question why you're not making it, on the due date. But sometimes that's a stress reliever. I know back when I was trying to repair my credit, it was really, really stressful to me if I didn't make it on the 1st. And then I realized it's not going to show. So, okay, give me my next paycheck. I'll make sure it gets paid. So we look at your credit scores. We look at your credit history. And the reason we look at that credit history is because the best way that we have to predict whether or not you're going to repay the loan that we're about to give you is by your past performance. So we have to delve into those things. So look at your scores and your history. And then I get to a part in your report that has miscellaneous items, but these are equally as important. And these things we make you explain. So we make you explain things like any inquiries, aliases, or additional addresses. Inquiries they tell us how many times you've applied for a loan recently or tried to open up a credit card account. And lenders will make you explain anything that's happened within the past 4 months. And what we're looking for in situations like that are if there are any new accounts, any new debt that you've acquired that we need to consider when we're making our decision. The other thing that we want to know are any AKAs, and they show up on your report as an AKA. So any aliases, and the bureaus will give a list of every known name that they have in their records for you. And this is important because maybe you're a junior and we didn't pull your report that way, so the history that we have may not belong to you, it may belong to your father. And maybe he has great credit or maybe he doesn't have great credit, so that affects the lending decision. The other thing that we like to look at, or that we are concerned about sometimes, are any additional addresses that we have on file. And the reason this is important is because if you tell us that you've lived on Main Street for 3 years, but there is an address from December of 2014 showing up on there, it's a red flag. We want to know that you're giving us complete information, accurate information. Maybe you forgot that you owned a property in Clearwater that you just vacated and you don't have a mortgage on it, so you didn't think that that was important. But because you're the property owner, you're responsible for the property taxes, and that we have to take into consideration when we're reviewing the file. So lending is a risky business. We want to be repaid. And the way that we minimize that risk is by examining your credit report, by really looking at your credit history. So we look at your scores, we look at your history, and we look at things like inquiries and addresses. And by doing that, it helps us to get a more complete picture of your credit profile, and hopefully will make a sound lending decision. Madam Toastmaster.
Let's give a minute on the clock. How many of you know what blogging is? Show of hands. I'm going to get you involved today. Manual day. In every country surveyed, social is the dominant online media activity. Taken together, social networking and microblogging account for nearly 2.5 hours of our daily online time, something which translates to more than 40% of our online activities. And if we add in reading and writing blogs, that rises to nearly 50%. What does that mean? How many of you use the term Google? Google it. Google it. Well, you have to have bloggers to write content to answer people's questions. So therefore, blogging is on the rise, surpassing a lot of things that are already being used. I would next like to introduce our second speaker. Is he here before I make a mistake? All right, our second speaker, speaking about the quest. Hadi Noswar, speaking from Project 4, How to Say It.
Just move this up way. Who are you deep down? What is your purpose? What is your dream? Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests, imagine yourself at a party. You're celebrating at a luxury hotel. The music is divine. You're there with all your friends. You're laughing at your jokes. All of a sudden, bam! You get shot. You get shot in the stomach. You feel yourself getting weak. Your white shirt is turning a crimson red. Your eyesight is getting blurry. You try to walk out the hotel, and then, bang! You get shot in the heart. You're losing consciousness very quickly. You stumble out the hotel, and you see a firefighter. His name is Ryan Weber. And as you're about to collapse, you slowly mutter, "Help me." Ryan and the other firefighters rush to the scene. They pick you up and put you on the hospital bed or the ambulance bed. They're rushing, they're connecting the IV. They don't know what to do. You're fading. Your eyes are starting to close. All of a sudden, slap! Ryan has broken all the rules. He's just following his instincts right now. You open your eyes, You're awake for a moment, but then your eyes start to close again. And then, slap! You open your eyes again. You last a moment or two, and then your eyes again start to close. The firefighters don't know what to do. All of a sudden, Ryan's instincts kick in another notch. Do you like football? Do you like basketball? You answer, yeah, I love basketball. Ryan starts talking to you about how you're going to complete high school, get into a college program, play basketball for college, and then join the NBA. All of a sudden, you light up. You start to awake. You're talking about how you're going to play basketball for the NBA, how you love it. You're talking about your favorite teams, and you're starting to regain consciousness. You get to the hospital. The ER can't take you in. They just don't have the resources. You'll have to wait for the helicopter. 5 whole minutes. The longest 5 minutes of Ryan's life. He doesn't know what to do. So he keeps talking to you about basketball. He keeps trying to pull you out of losing consciousness. Finally, the helicopter arrives. They rush you in there. A few weeks later, Ryan hears from you. You made it. This is a true story from firefighter Ryan Weber. Your dreams can literally save your life. Your dreams can literally save your life. So what has stopped you from doing all that you can to accomplish your dreams? The answer is one we're all intimately familiar with. Fear. Fear that we're not going to make it. Fear that we're not good enough. Fear that we're going to fail. I'm here to tell you that if you don't follow your dreams, you're already dead. And that you are good enough. And 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 you are good enough. Three weeks from now, I've decided to follow my heart and go on the quest, to step into the unknown. My friend will be getting married in India. I bought a one-way ticket. When I return, I do not know. How long I'll stay in India, I do not know. Where I will go from there, I do not know. All I know is that deep down, we know what we need to do. And that our heart has the key to our happiness. And that if we want to reach our happiness, if we want to reach our dream, we have to follow our heart one step at a time. Madam Toastmaster.
I'm sore.
Thank you. I would next like to introduce our table topics master, Erika Benfield. Along with the media consumption theme, I would like to ask, are you a creeper or a social Facebook butterfly? Hadi.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. I am definitely a bit of both. I use my Facebook primarily to inspire people. And so in that case, I'm a social butterfly because I'm always connecting with people and inspiring them and that whole deal. How am I a creeper? Well, sometimes I just post crazy things on Facebook. So for example, I'll post about you know, scary related speeches like the one I just did. Or I'll post a lot of song lyrics from the 80s, and people start to think that I have really bad taste in music.
Oh.
So I'd say a bit of both.
All right, thank you. News outlet has evolved from print, radio, TV, and now online. Which do you use most and why, Lemar?
I apologize. So which ones? What are the options here?
News outlet
Yeah.
have evolved from print and radio to TV and now online. Which do you use most and why?
No, I could say this from an investing standpoint that advertising has definitely been online. Think about what we're on Twitter and Facebook's advertising out there is quite crazy.
News, how you receive
How you
what's
see the
happening.
news.
Mhm.
I would still say mostly online because I spend most of the time online searching stuff or was on my phone. I get news updates all the time. So a lot of times it's just really through my phone because I'm always on it.
All right.
That's our good.
Thank you for sharing. Podcast. When I think of podcasts, I think of Joel Osteen, business coaches, how to make a cake. Do you listen to a podcast and why? Stephany.
Madam Table Topics Master, no, I don't listen to podcasts. Number one, I don't know what it is. Number two, I don't care. Number three, I'm not going to bake a cake or do any of those things that they say to do on there. I go online for my own interests, and I don't care about social media. Only as it relates to Toastmasters do I involve myself. I go on Facebook once every 3 or 4 months. I don't care who walked their dog or who drank coffee at Starbucks. I've probably been on Facebook longer than most of you, because when it first came out, I had a cousin in California told me to sign up for it. I don't talk to anybody, I don't have time, I don't care. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Conversion is merely the end of the journey. With that, I would like to introduce our General Evaluator, Kerri Bird.
Good morning. This is our educational portion of our meeting where we will find out how our speakers did and get some evaluations for those. We will start with our first evaluator, which is Rick Massa, who will be evaluating Lori Richards' speech.
General Evaluator, Toastmaster, and especially Lori. Risky business. Your job scares me a little bit with all those credit scores and numbers. I couldn't imagine doing your job. What I loved about your speech was amazing. You had great eye contact. You spoke to the crowd. I felt like I was at a presentation. Like if I was at a, say I was at my field of work, and they brought in an expert and taught us what credit scores mean and how to improve your credit score, and I felt very comfortable listening to you. He had great eye contact, great volume of voice, and I really enjoyed the information. What I would improve upon is I noticed that you stood right here on the right side or the audience's left side of the lectern, and then maybe either move around or have the somebody move it before you start speaking. That way you'll have more eye contact with the crowd. Another thing I would suggest is when you begin a speech is to give a brief overview of what you're going to talk about and use the power of threes. That's all. Other than that, great contact. I love the information. Vast improvement from what I've seen last time for you. Great volume of voice, and I'm really looking forward to your next speech.
And now evaluating our second speaker for today will be Martin Bell, evaluating Hadi Music.
Kerri, welcome and good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Hadi, I'm going to get to you in just a moment. I do need to give a shout out to one of our fellow Toastmasters, and that happens to be Kerri Bird. Week ago Friday, my wife and I went downtown to Central Florida Community Arts Orchestra, and we both left with a maniacal grin on our faces. I don't know, we were expecting like 15 to 20 in the orchestra. There's over 100. It's really huge, and they play terrific music, and I would suggest it to everybody. So go check it out. Getting to you, Hadi. All right, well done. As someone who's seen Hadi's several speeches, you're really coming into your own. You're becoming more comfortable, all right, with the way that you walk around, the way that you present yourself. So that's great. I enjoy always that you take a very formal approach as well. You know, he's always dressed up very formal. I think that's great as well. In terms of what to look for, how to say it, without having the manual, I believe with regards to the How to Say It project, we're looking for different vocal tones and clarity in different words. And you did that very well. I think it was a very confident and bold approach to go around the room and emphasize, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. I might suggest taking perhaps 2 or 3 people to reduce the amount of time, and then everyone in the room could do it, perhaps with a different mannerism of hands. I really enjoyed the story, imagining myself as a firefighter, someone who volunteers on the firefighter board pension plan. I'm going to bring this story back to all the firefighters there and tell them about Ryan Weber. I thought it was a terrific story, and imagining ourselves in his position, actually being able to help someone survive, is always inspirational. And that's what I like about your speeches, in fact. They're always positive. They're always inspirational. They're always confident. I enjoy coming here to listen to these type of speeches. So I think you're really becoming comfortable in terms of your presence. I would suggest perhaps, and with regards to the speech today, How to Say It, don't be shy to even be more forceful and more impactful with your tone, and really have more variety in your speech and in your message. So don't be afraid just to demonstrate more pitch. And I think with more speeches you're going to be even comfortable doing that as well. With regards to the story, perhaps it might help as well to take a first-person approach rather than a third. For example, we learned about Ryan Weber, but quite simply, if we had just imagined ourselves as a firefighter, say, imagine yourself talking to the person in the ambulance, imagine yourself talking to them about basketball and their dreams. Instead of in the third person, imagine you're Ryan Weber. Get to the name at the end. Maybe that might be a little bit more poignant for folks if we're just imagining ourselves, and then we learn who this particular person is at the end. Those are my suggestions, but again, overall, as someone who's seen many speeches, you're really coming into your own, you're becoming more comfortable, and I would just say, even be comfortable with your pitch, and take it from there. Great job, loved it, thanks everybody.
And now I will get our reports from our technical table, and we're going to start with our timer. Macarena.
Hadi, you came in at 42 Lemar, you came in at 48.03. And Stephany, you came, oh wait, hold on. Speakers, sorry, I
That's
started.
table
No,
topics,
that's
it's
table
okay.
topics, fine. Stephany came in at 44.90. Okay, now speakers. Lori, you came in at 6:37.
Hadi?
Yeah, Hadi, but I wrote his time down, but I didn't write it down on the sheet. I don't know.
It's okay. I
Hold on.
was between green
It
and
was
yellow.
on, I think I wrote it down on,
On one of those?
it
Okay.
was on that one.
This one? Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Sorry, 5:57. And Mike,
What's next?
Mike is not here. Rich, you came in at 124, and Martin, you came in at 253.
All right.
And now for our grammarian, Juliana.
So my report is pretty short. Not that many people use the word, unfortunately. Erika, you used it. Ernst, you used it. And so did Macarena, if I pronounced it correctly. Yes, perfect. So we have 3 people who used it. If I didn't call your name, you owe us money. Nice language. Thank you for interrupting.
I said money in my ears.
It was a great transition to my next thought. Lori, meat and potatoes. I'm a big fan of idioms, and I liked it. It was very visual. Hadi as well. The music was divine. It was very nicely put together, and it flowed nicely. Erika, the conversion is merely the end of the journey. Something along those lines. Did I quote you correctly?
Conversion is merely the end of the journey.
I like it. I liked it a lot.
That's all they want. They want conversion.
Yep, it was very thoughtful and it was unique. I enjoyed it. And that's my report. Thank you.
And now for our off-counter.
Right, I'm Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. As our counters, I didn't have much to count except for one person who really made my time here worthwhile. I wonder who that is. Alexandra, you had 0. Very good. Erika, did not detect anything. Macarena, there was 1 R or Juliana, there was 1 and. Lori, 1 R, you know, but, and 2 ands. Hadi had 1 which was very good. Lemar, you had 3 R's. Stephany, 2 tongue clicks, I. Kerri, you had 1 R and 1 N, which was very good. Rick, 1, 2, 5 2 N's and 1 tongue click. And Martin, who did an outstanding job in wrapping this up and giving a fantastic evaluation. How much is it? 20?
Give it to
Is it a quarter?
Let's give it to her.
5 cents. I forgot how much it is. 27
Beat that.
1 bar, 1 N, and 1 tongue click. This is my report.
Now, I'm just going to give a little bit of an evaluation about the entire meeting. The room was set up when we got here. It looks great. Nice to have you back. Or did you do it, Lori? Great.
Alexander did too.
Well, the stand hat. I think our Toastmaster did a good job with the changes to our schedule since we did have a lack of a speaker and apparently last minute table topics issue. I did love your topic. For me, it's great. I work in advertising. That is what I do in media all day. And yes, I do want conversions. And the only thing that I would say is to find out if the speakers want or need the lectern before so that it can be moved and they don't have to necessarily do it. Another thing is the pronunciation of the word maniacal. It's kind of pronounced wrong most of the day. And a lot of people said the word great. And then also for our speakers, when you leave, you need to shake hands with the general evaluator before you leave the lectern. And that's about it. And so now to our business report from our president, Erika B.
I have a little time here, so I'm going to shake things up a little bit. I did have a fourth question for table topics, but because I've been brainwashed to ask 3, I want to know with a show of hands, how many of you want to hear this last question? It's important to me. All right, thank you. Newspaper. I like the smell of the newspaper more so than the smell of a bakery. I like to receive it in a hotel. I love to receive the Wall Street Journal at the Mercedes dealership. Do you read the paper, and if so, when and where? Julia.
Thank you for that question. I was hoping you would ask me that question because I also love the smell of the newspaper. And one of the most simple pleasures in life to me is hearing the paper drop on the driveway and going out and taking out the plastic and seeing what the front headline is. I have US Today on my iPad, which I look at it and you get the push notices so you see what's going on, but there's something about reading the paper every morning with my cup of coffee and just scrolling through the paper and checking out the articles of what's happening locally, things that you don't get at US Today or Times or whatnot. But yes, I do love the newspaper, and I always will love that printed matter. As most of you know, I work for a publishing company, so I love print material. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
During this conference, I got to chat with people who have been on Oprah, such as Nate Berkus. And Nate shared with me his experience in pitching to Oprah and what that was like. And when you speak to Oprah, you speak to Oprah. You have a few minutes with Oprah, you get to the point, which is why it's a great speech to practice getting to the point. If you had a few minutes with Oprah to pitch your story or yourself, what would you say? Rich.
I knew it. The first thing I would ask about, talk to Oprah, is I would ask about her first, honestly. She's had an amazing life. Because in my experience, when you ask about the other person, they're going to be more open to hear your pitch. So after I hear about her amazing life and her ideas, I would present my ideas and see how I can, my dream is to help people get better. And I would present maybe, if she has a TV show, maybe, or I'm sorry, a whole channel. Does she have an Oprah channel? I would say, well, since I'm very charismatic and I'm good looking and successful, I think we should just give me a TV show. And then complimenting her enough and selling her and pitching her my point. And that's it. So
I think that would be very well received because she loves humor and loves getting to the attention. The funny part was when Nate said to me that she told him, okay, goodbye, but smiling, goodbye. And then he said, so I have the stuff that I want to sell and da-da-da-da, so did I get it? And she's like, well, let me look at it first and then we'll talk again. And then he just kind of kept, as we're escorting him out, he kept asking questions. He's like, I got the job, do you want me to sell it? Will you sell my stuff? And then she's like, goodbye. So it was really cute because her personality was still in that Shark Tank type of environment where you have a few minutes to get your point across. So these table topic portion of the meeting is very important, as well as the manuals that we use. So now that we've talked about the media consumption, fantastic meeting everyone. It's just great to be back. I still pray when I get on the highway to drive here. I'm going through some challenges with vertigo and driving, but I'm getting better and better every day, so I'm happy to be back. Who has the schedule as it's going around?
I haven't seen it.
Did somebody eat it? I saw it. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's take a few moments to pass it around. I want to mention the 50-50. Does anybody have any money they want to contribute and see if they have a chance? Because I was told that if you win this morning, you should buy a lottery ticket because it's good karma. So it's $1 for 1 ticket, $2 for 3, $5 for 8. But don't feel any pressure if you're a guest. It's just something fun that we do. Ernst does it.
Yes.
I'd like to hear from our guests because I see some new faces. Gus is away in Africa, so normally he would be your ambassador this morning. And since I've been in and out a few times, I may pick on you, and you may have been in before, but here we go. Could you tell us how you got here this morning?
I got there, so my sister heard about it and said, well, I'm kind of curious what it's about, what this Toastmaster is about. It's like, so I kind of don't have any information, I just know you did your speeches at, but
perfect.
Kind of not understanding.
Okay, well, Toastmasters is an international group. We are a 501(c), so we're all volunteers. And in that, at least within the club, we support you on your speaking journey. Once you become a member, you're welcome to become a guest a few times. We guide you and set you up with a mentor where you can work on different, with a manual, different manuals on what your speech goals are. And there's no right or wrong way. We're all learning from each other. And then you get to meet amongst the district a few times a year. There's a total of, I've met someone that was over Georgia all the way to South Florida, correct?
In our district?
Mm-hmm.
I think it goes up just to North Florida and the...
She's not Georgia? It might have been another group I was at.
Georgia border down to
Georgia border. Yeah. Yeah. So can you imagine being in a group of people that have evolved and they're all in different parts of that journey and you just have that great support? And we also video our meetings so that we hear in our mind what we hear, and then we see what we've prepared. But it's always great to visually see it recorded as well. So who do we have to thank for how you found us? Was it through Meetup or?
Through my sister.
Through your sister?
Yes, my sister.
Oh, okay, perfect, perfect. Well, let's hear from your sister.
Since my brother and I are both entrepreneurs, that we could improve our speaking skills and getting our point across to people better by coming in and observing and seeing who's doing what. So that's why we're here today, because we're actually looking at a couple of different Toastmaster groups to see which group might best fit us and to see what you're really all about.
Fantastic. Well, welcome. Get the ledger and get their information for Gus since he's not here today. And it's nice to see a new face to me. Mepri and I did your application with Steven, so welcome aboard. I'm happy to meet you finally. And we also have another guest within the district. His name is Ted Allman, correct? And welcome, and if you could come up and just share a few words about why you're here.
I think you've probably heard of the Three Wise Guys on NPR. These are three religious leaders that get together and talk about social issues of the day. But many of you probably don't know that they hang out together in their off hours too. They like to go fishing. And this last Saturday they were out in the boat. Of course there was no beer because one was a Baptist and the other was the imam. And the fish weren't biting. Well, what are we going to do? We're too early to go back. Okay, let's take a clue from the Catholics. They like to go to confession. Well, we could confess things that we wouldn't otherwise tell our congregation. Right? Okay. Who's going first? I'll go first. Yeah, I've been having a little problem with gambling lately. These online games are just getting me hooked in. But I know that the Lord is going to help me break this habit and get back on the right and narrow. And you, Imam? Well, I feel like I've been abandoning my flock. I've been too busy in the commercial world. But Allah will help. I'm sure of that. And you? Nothing. You didn't say a thing. Come on. Well, okay. I've been a bit of a gossip lately. And it's up to you to become gossips for Toastmasters. Tell your friends, let them know what a great place this is. And I congratulate you for bringing your brother and for you bringing your sister. This is a wonderful atmosphere. So I appreciate all you. You picked a good club. And I'm Toastmaster.
We have or had, he's always going to be an honoree member, Bud, and you reminded me a little bit of his humor, would you say?
Oh,
Yeah.
And therefore, we had several ums and ahs, and we have a record now that we have to beat of 27. But Bud is a professor at our local college.
Yes.
And I'll never forget the day he shared with me. He said, Erika, the day your brain stops thinking, you're going to say, He said, as long as you just keep those thoughts flowing and you don't stop, you will not use those words. I wish everyone to practice that, because my first television appearance, I had a coach. I was going to speak on Fox 35 about interior design tips. And I had my cue cards hidden and all the things, and my husband counted 29 before I was ready to go on air the next morning. And they gave me 4 minutes, which is a lifetime. That's $4,000 if I had to pay for it. This was a few years ago, and I thought, this is never going to work. 29 ohms, how am I going to get over that? Needless to say, when I got to the news station, I was ready to be inside, and they put my table outside. I could hear the road noise as the cars were going by, and I was talking about holiday decor, table decor. Outside, my hair was not meant to be outside. Remember, I get it done every Tuesday at 11 o'clock, so this is not what it looks like. But the point was that my 29 ohms went down to just under 10. Until this day, it is on the web on that particular one, and it was a different setup. It was not an interview. It was me speaking and then following along with me. And I wish I had been in Toastmasters at that point. I wish I had met Bud. But I got through it, and the media only lasts for a certain amount of time. The difference between print and if it's online is it's online forever. Therefore, practice, join a supportive group that will help you grow, so that when you are in a position and you want to pitch to Oprah, if you want to do that, or whatever you want to do, if you want to encourage others, to follow your mission or your beliefs, don't let those things distract you by feeling more comfortable and just never letting your brain stop thinking. So I thought I'd share that with you as people are signing up for next week's meeting.
Not one ah or on that.
March 10th, Sergeant of Arms, Alexandra, which I love so much. Thank you for all that you do. Toastmaster Rich Massa. You might have to get here a few minutes before 7:30.
Yeah, okay.
We can carpool.
All right.
Speaker 1, Lemar. Speaker 2, Nicole. Speaker 3, Stephany. Table topics, Sam Bailey. General Evaluator, Julia. Evaluator 1 will be myself. I'll volunteer. Evaluator 2, Lori. Evaluator 3, Hadi. I'll counter Kerri. Grammarian, Stephen. Timer, Ernst. Let's see.
I'm not here next week.
Ay, Dios mío. Let me get a pen. And cross it off. Okay. Let's see who made some money this morning. Where's the box? Where'd it go?
Right here.
Evaluator and a time.
How much money are we going for?
All of it.
It's not enough, it's like $6. Let me just see it.
Hold it to me.
It's enough to give some good karma, and then they can go
$6.
buy that lottery ticket.
6.
Okay.
All right.
All right, let's have our guest pull the winning ticket. I'm going with your sister. Winner, 2300837.
Right here, boom.
I wish everyone a great week. We will see you
I
then.
have to collect some money here for the
money. Get the dues.
Martin 175, Rick 65 cents, Kerri 35 cents, Stephany
I
paid,
paid.
Lemar 40 cents,
It's
Lori
only if
50,
you're a Toastmaster
Juliana
who's done your
30,
icebreaker survey.
25.
And don't forget to pay your dues early so we win that extra cash.
I did.
Have a great week, everyone.